Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube, and we'll be back on Earth in a moment, but first, Car Trek is live on Tavares' YouTube channel, and it is sponsored by Autotempest, the best way to search for a used car online, as it combines all the major listing sites into one search. So use Autotempest because I use it every day to shop for cars. You can modify your searches based on engines, based on anything you want. It is so cool, and it makes Car Trek possible, which has brought me here onto the bridge of the Enterprise. So now let's go back to your regularly scheduled programming. Normal, poor quality public access. Hoovie's Garage. Let's set a course. Engage. Well, I'm not sure how I'm ever going to top that intro ever. A lifelong Star Trek fan right here. So doing that, well, you have to check out Car Trek to see how I ended up on the bridge of the Enterprise. But oh my God, and I'm actually making preparations for the next Car Trek. We're going to be filming it in a few weeks and it'll come out before the end of the year, which is why my Maserati looks like this. I'm unveiling the very first Expedition Overland Maserati, and oh, is it fabulous. I'll give you a tour of it here in a little bit, in addition to the other Car Trek car, something you all are already familiar with, which needs some little things done over at Van Gogh. We'll also be picking up the Ferrari F355 and talking about a small accident I had in another Maserati for car issues, which I shall show you. So I have actually two Maseratis right now, but let's get started with a tour of this wonderful machine. So just to recap, I bought about the most neglected Maserati Levante in the USA, and when I mean neglected, no oil change for 60,000 miles. It was used to haul drugs, and there are some remnants of those drugs and paraphernalia in the car when it showed up after it was repoed by the bank. So it lived a very, very hard life, but it was the cheapest in the USA, $30,000, which for a car, almost $100,000 new, a 2019, 100,000 miles though. That is a lot of depreciation in a short period of time, but it did smell like cat pee, and I was ignorant of that. I didn't know the whole drug history of this thing, and you all filled me in that cat pee also smells a lot like meth, and that turned out to be very, very true on this thing. So after a very, very thorough cleaning, multiple oil flushes because the engine was all sludged up from a 60,000 mile oil change interval, which is insane, it's been a good, solid car. Had a few other fixes, like to get the camera working, some electronic problems like the wiper motor was dead, but otherwise, you know, a pretty solid car. But our next Car Trek is actually going to be terrible off-roaders, and clearly the Levante was never built to be taken off-road. It has an off-road button, but that's not what these were built for, obviously. Freddie was in town recently picking up his entry into this future Car Trek, which is the Audi Allroad. That's when he was in the passenger seat with me, with the police officer. Which, a little update on that, somebody filed a complaint on my behalf, so I've spoken to their internal, their internal investigation unit, and they're investigating, and they'll let me know their findings of the incident. They've all been really professional, really nice. I have a lot of friends in law enforcement, so I was a little mixed feelings about making that video. But I do appreciate all of your support, and if you want to help somebody in law enforcement, a good police officer, please consider donating to the link below to the Honoree Adversus Foundation. They're helping out a police officer right now that's going through a really, really bad bout of cancer. So if you can afford to give $5, $10, be sure to check it out in the link below. But Freddie came, he drove the car home, not without some issues, but he's prepping that for Car Trek. But I have this one all ready to go. You can see here, my 20-inch wheels now have some beautiful Comforcer tires, which obviously a Chinese brand is the cheapest I could find. $600 for a set of 5 of these things, which is ridiculously cheap for off-road tires. But clearly when it's Chinese brand, something gets lost in translation, because Comforcer sounds very, very inappropriate. But they are about an inch bigger than the stock tires, and they only rubbed a little bit right here, which we were able to just cut out and fix right there. Otherwise, you can see the articulation right here. It's actually pretty good. It's not hitting anything. Looks like it was made. It was born this way. In addition, we have the roof rack. Sourcing this factory accessory and all that stuff, well, it wasn't cheap. It was like another $1,500 to get all this stuff, which is stupid. So I could mount a, $70 Amazon roof basket, which is kind of necessary because I do need to put the full-size off-road spare somewhere, since we will be camping in these vehicles. So that's going to go up on the roof It's supposed to come with an accessory to mount with this existing one. It hasn't showed up, so it may end up being ratchet straps. But otherwise, this thing looks absolutely fantastic. The suspension is articulating. It's going uphill just fine. Plenty of power. No low-range transfer case though, which is going to be interesting. We're actually in the backyard of Johnny the Car Ninja's shop. And I brought another car for him that I haven't told him about, a car that I am selling. So let's go back over to the Car Ninja, show him the stuff I want fixed on this car, and see what he thinks about my conversion. And then we will head over to Van Gogh and then check out the Maserati that I kind of crashed. Ninja! I love your work here, absolutely fantastic. Especially you joined the wizard in the Cutting Holes in Italian Cars Club here.
Yes.
Great job. So it exposes, is this a radiator? What is this?
Intercooler.
Intercooler for the turbo. Yeah. Oh, okay. We definitely want to rub our tire on that, don't we?
Because otherwise, yeah, it was rubbing pretty good, but now you're good.
Okay.
What do you think?
Looks great. So if I do pick up some rocks and they throw it into this intercooler?
You'll be fine.
Okay.
If anything, they're just gonna fly in the back.
Unless I'm going reverse really fast.
True.
So, okay, note to self, don't do that. The roof rack?
Looks pretty good.
Yeah? So you dig my Overland Maserati?
Yeah. Probably I'll trade you my X5 for this one now.
I don't know about that, but maybe an X6M. I think that might be in my future someday.
Think about it, yeah.
I think those are like about the worst M cars ever made. So just to experience it and see what that's like. Yeah. But one of the best BMWs ever made, I think, is this E30. And I've gone back and forth. I think it's time to sell. It does have some issues though to get it like perfect when I put it on Cars and Bids. The blower motor resistors quit. It's only on full blast.
Okay.
Actually backed up, and this antenna is really tall. It's like taller than me because it hit the lift when I was backing into the spot and broke the antenna. So new mast.
Yeah, I can get you that. Yeah, no problem.
A little bit of brake rotor warpage.
Easy. On
the front, and then these are pretty new tires on the back. Nice hand cooks. The fronts are ancient and falling apart, so
no, we'll get them to match.
Do some front ones, but
it looks showroom quality.
They did such a good job. And then that dent.
Yep, gone.
Yeah, Van Gogh just did amazing work, which is actually where I'm heading next. I'm going to pick up my 355 and drop off the other Car Trek car for the next Car Trek. So really appreciate it.
And we fixed the trim too.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you glued the trim back on. That's wonderful. So yeah, that was gone, and now it's back. I'll have to clean off some duct tape and things, but otherwise, yeah, good to go. All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, here's the rubbing test on those Comforcers. Full lock left is good. See if it touches anywhere else. Full lock right. No rubbing on those intercoolers. Don't need those anyway, that's not important. So far, so good. So this will be a little bit of a Comforcer tire review before we head over to Van Gogh, I guess. Well, the tires themselves an inch more diameter, and also if you hit the off-road button, you're sitting up another 2 inches higher, which, I mean, completely changes the experience of this thing. This was supposed to be, you know, sort of a tight handling, you know, sport SUV, and now, well, now it's sort of rugged and not quite trucky feeling, but let's dive it into a turn here entering the highway and see what it does. Oh, it still handles just fine. Stop. Oh, yeah. It may have a lot of cheap Dodge stuff on the inside, but that engine's just wonderful. And boy, that roof rack is really loud. Huh. I don't hear the tires, I just hear the roof rack whistling in the wind. So I've made it a little worse. But, I mean, the spare tire has to go somewhere, so the roof makes sense. Let's open this. Oh, it's even louder. Huh. And now my UltraView sunroof sort of looks like I'm in prison. So I may have made it a little bit worse, but still really, really cool. So let's go pick up the other Car Trek vehicle. This is going to be Car Trek 9 and 10, our 9th and 10th one of these, and head over to Van Gogh. So yes, the other car for Car Trek 10, I believe, will be the 458, and the theme is wrecked exotics for the price of a C8 Z06. And it's all existing cars, and if Freddie's able to get the car that he plans to use going for it, boy, will that be awesome. Ed's car's really good to go. Kind of a weird choice, but anyway, I'm back at Van Gogh. What's going on, Stuart?
Hey Tyler, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. So you all went above and beyond on this rear bumper. So we have this crazy matte PPF from Ceramic Pro that went over the existing paint. This is the factory color you're seeing. It just sort of makes it translucent and a matte appearance, but we didn't have the result we wanted on the back bumper because the lazy people who rebuilt this thing when it was wrecked, it's a salvage title with 87,000 miles, they just kind of painted over the horse clear coat. So when you peeled it off, it had a really lovely...
It was gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. So
yeah, but the clear coat was all around this thing.
it was all messed up, and they had just painted right over it.
So
when we tried to put the PPF on, even though we had taken this off, it was all messed up underneath. So we ended up having to refinish the bumper.
Right, you had a few ideas that didn't work, but instead we just repainted the bumper and then the PPF back on. It's been a little over a week, so now it needs to come back, you know, to get little things that start to peel on a normal wrap just cleaned up. So I can pick this up in a few days, but there is a car inside that we completely missed something on. It's so weird, we never noticed it before, but now it's perfect. Go look at this thing. Whoa, nice hot rod.
Yeah, we get a little bit of everything in here.
But here's the 355 again. So there was some damage on this car that we didn't even notice because the damage before was so bad on the front bumper and this side that we didn't even notice that the clear coat was peeling off the driver's side. We should have done it while I was here, but
I know.
Oh, I mean, it was all peeling just right. It looks absolutely awful, and I don't know how, like, none of us noticed it.
I know. I think it was clean. The edges were clean, so now it had time to get some dirt on it.
Right.
And,
but since you had a little experience matching the yellow last time, it's absolutely flawless now. So basically a perfect 355.
Yeah. Now the car is absolutely gorgeous.
So basically a flawless Italian car. And actually, I bought a flawless Italian car for Car Issues, which you traveled with me. You drove actually both the Ferraris in one of the episodes, so you'll have to check it out and see what we did there. But after that episode, something happened, and then, well, something else happened in my driveway. Here, take a look. I'll show Stuart.
Oh.
That's what I forgot was back there. I hit a very rare truck with my Maserati, and it was a very loud, hard hit, but the damage is something you wouldn't expect. So I have some work for you coming now that I've created. I haven't done anything like that in a very, very long time, just blindly backed into something, but I can explain myself. So I'll take the Ferrari and we'll go survey the damage on the other cars, which you'll see soon.
Perfect.
So, thank you so much. Oh, that Levante looks so good. Meanwhile, my landscaping certainly does not. But another thing, so beautiful. Look at this Grand Sport. It is so gorgeous. The final iteration of these Maserati coupes, and they did this great body kit. The wheels are aftermarket, maybe not that good looking, but overall the car just absolutely fantastic. Special grille. The interior is kind of unusual. What I really like about it, it's you know, like a mesh, sort of like sport shorts, but the seats are really neat. A lot of carbon fiber inside, so it feels like a really special car. And it has a new clutch and the new programming to where it shifts really nicely for a flappy paddle gearbox. I actually really like the way it shifts and drives. It feels so good. But you saw the clip. I did back it into the Cyclone, and well, here's the damage. A scratch. Really something that could just be repainted very, very easily. Kind of a shame because I think it was original paint, but it's just on the bumper. This could be touched up and you wouldn't even see it. But that's all. After that really, really, really hard hit. So nice, tough car this. You wouldn't expect it hitting a GMC Cyclone that it would have such little damage, which is an absolute tragedy that I hit one of less than 3,000 GMC Cyclones, a car that we bought for the show, but it does need quite a bit of cleanup. 85,000 miles though, drives really well. We had it on the track, like I said, it didn't completely fall on its face, but then after that, well, I backed a Maserati into it, and you can see here's what it did to the tailgate. Just smashed it in real good. So hopefully Van Gogh can pull that out and repaint and touch up the rest of the car. And you'd never know that I did that. I haven't done something like that in a very, very long time, so I feel quite stupid right now, even more dumb or dumber than usual. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune into Car Trek live this week on Tavares' channel, and Car Issues on Motor Trend 9/8 Central on Wednesdays.